ever going to trade Luka Doncic, if this was even a thought that was going to cross their mind, it was for AD. This came out of nowhere. This is maybe the most stunning trade, definitely that I've been a part of. Players, coaches, a lot of people on both sides with the Mavericks and Lakers had no idea.
My heart is currently racing. I am still in disbelief. At the time that I'm recording this video, we're within 5 minutes of officially receiving this news. I currently am hearing people honking their horns in the background because I live in Los Angeles, and it's because the Los Angeles Lakers easily just swung the biggest trade in their franchise's history. A trade that I didn't even think is possible. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to get the latest NBA news to your device. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Ever since I've gotten this sponsorship, I've been trying to figure out a way to game the system so I can earn my subscribers money, and I finally did it this past week. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you all the messages I've been receiving over the past few days as a result of all the people making money with my picks. I have a model that has exponentially increased our hit rate, and if you don't believe me, just look at my DMs. I mean, people have been blowing up my DMs with all the money they've been making. We made thousands of dollars on Prize Picks this past week, and they're giving us promo code microphone when you sign up for Prize Picks to get $50 when you make a play of $5 or more. And let's make some money off of this big game. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I've mentioned on this YouTube channel that I was expecting a very slow trade deadline. I mean, apart from what we've been hearing in regards to Jimmy Butler and what we've been hearing about De'Aaron Fox, two storylines that I will admit I was getting kind of tired of covering. I didn't really expect any star players to be available at the trade deadline. I didn't expect a trade deadline like last year or even the year prior. Hell, even on this YouTube channel, one of the biggest jokes I've always made is photoshopping Luka Doncic into a Los Angeles Lakers jersey. The Luka Doncic era has been a very tricky era for the Dallas Mavericks since selecting him number 3 overall in the 2018 NBA draft, which without a doubt was seen as the right pick to make. They acquired Luka as a result of a trade including Trae Young, but if you take a look at the opening picks of the NBA draft, I mean, DeAndre Ayton was selected number 1 overall by the Phoenix Suns, and ultimately, due to a lack of desire to succeed in the NBA, he ended up getting traded to the Portland Trail Blazers in the Damian Lillard trade. Marvin Bagley was taken number 2 overall, and it didn't take Sacramento Kings fans very long to realize that he was not going to fulfill the billing of a number 2 overall pick. Luka Doncic was perceived as the future face of the NBA, but there's a huge question as to how to build around Luka Doncic. In his rookie year, the Dallas Mavericks swung a huge trade, bringing in Kristaps Porzingis to team up with Luka Doncic, and they did a masterful job building around him. Throughout this era, they also got Jalen Brunson, but ultimately Kristaps Porzingis wouldn't be the ideal running mate for Luka Doncic. During the 2021-22 season, in a season that Kristaps Porzingis did get traded to the Washington Wizards, Luka and Jalen Brunson would lead the Mavericks to their first Western Conference appearance. But the Dallas Mavericks would end up lowballing Jalen Brunson, and ultimately Brunson would walk to the Knicks. So there was a huge question as to who Luka Doncic's new running mate would be, because it was clear that Luka Doncic was capable of taking the Mavericks very deep into the playoffs. The question was, what would be the ideal team to build around Luka in order to achieve that? In the middle of the 2022-23 season, the Dallas Mavericks decided to strike on a great opportunity, trading for Kyrie Irving and pairing him with Luka. That, combined with the fact that they tanked towards the end of the season, put them in a situation where new general manager Nico Harrison could draft Derek Lively in the offseason. And last year, you have to admit, the Dallas Mavericks absolutely cooked. In the middle of the season, they made huge trades for Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. This, combined with Luka Doncic's best season to date, in a season where he averaged 34 points per game, 9.8 assists per game, and 9.2 rebounds per game, was good enough to take the Dallas Mavericks all the way to the NBA Finals. But alas, they met a Boston Celtics team that was significantly stronger than they were. But there was once again a light at the end of the tunnel. And as a result, the Mavericks doubled down on their core of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. If you guys remember, in the offseason, the Los Angeles Lakers heavily pursued Klay Thompson to the point where LeBron James was was even willing to take a pay cut if it meant getting Klay Thompson on his team. Ultimately, Klay Thompson would sign with the Dallas Mavericks, but that's not all the Mavericks would do. Former Los Angeles Lakers guard Spencer Dinwiddie felt like he would have a better chance to contend if he also joined the Dallas Mavericks. That, combined with Najee Marshall, gave the Dallas Mavericks optimism for being able to compete in the Western Conference. But there was one thing that they could have never anticipated: the injury bug. So far, Luka Doncic has only played in 22 games. When he does play, the Dallas Mavericks are incredible, but that's the problem. When you play in less than half of the games of the season, there's very little chance that you are going to be able to compete. When you consider the fact that Luka Doncic's contract expires in the 2027 season, and the Dallas Mavericks have not been able to get him an NBA championship yet, you can understand that there may be some skepticism from Luka's end in regards to being able to get the job done. So according to Shams Charania, in one of the craziest trades that I have ever had the pleasure to cover on this YouTube channel, and still a trade that I can't believe is happening, the Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. This is a three-team deal that includes the Utah Jazz. At the time that I'm recording this video, I'm anticipating that 2029 pick is unprotected, because that's the only way I could rationalize making a trade like this for the Dallas Mavericks. And even then, I'm having some trouble buying into it. The Utah Jazz are going to get Jalen Hood-Schifino, the Los Angeles Clippers second-round pick, and a Dallas Mavericks second-round pick. When this trade broke, I thought Shams was hacked, but then he would consistently double down and provide more insight as to why the Mavericks would make this trade. Historically, Luka Doncic has spoken about how much he loves LeBron James.
Who was your favorite player growing up in the NBA that you admired? LeBron James.
And at the same time, LeBron James has mentioned that he would love to play with Luka.
He's my favorite.
Luka cold. Luka bad.
But he a lot like you to me.
Yeah. Me and Luka, we good.
And he would mention this on multiple different occasions.
He's gigantic.
I mean, he's gigantic. He's 6'8" point guard. That's why I love his vision. He can control a game. He doesn't even have to shoot.
You're gonna laugh at my take on this, but in terms of what this does for the Los Angeles Lakers immediately, the Lakers do slightly regress as a result of this trade, primarily because their biggest issues came in the front court, and as a result of this trade, the front court gets a little weaker. The entire time we were covering the Los Angeles Lakers, we were talking about them looking at Jonas Valanciunas and Walker Kessler to try to make a trade to get AD an additional front court mate so they could be competitive and make a run in the playoffs, which makes a lot of sense considering how the Lakers are currently in 5th place and they're 4 games behind 2nd place. But now they are completely depleted on the front court. But of course, Laker fans know that this has nothing to do with trying to win immediately. This has more to do with the Los Angeles Lakers' future. LeBron James is 40 years old. So who are you going to depend on once LeBron James retires? Who is going to be the next face of the Los Angeles Lakers? Well, we now have our answer. And apparently this is how it went down behind the scenes. The Mavericks approached the Lakers recently and offered Luka Doncic. The Lakers brass met and believed the 25-year-old Luka Doncic has the ability to be the face of their franchise for the next decade, while giving Anthony Davis a win-now move in Dallas. I'm sorry, respectfully, this doesn't make much sense for me from like the Dallas Mavericks perspective. And even now, I'm like grasping at straws trying to make this make sense. I mean, Luka Doncic is one of the biggest stars in the NBA, and the fact that you're trading him for a 31-year-old Anthony Davis is just preposterous. People think Shams Charania got hacked as a result of this. And the only way you could even rationalize a trade like this was because Luka Doncic could opt out in the 2026 season, and he wasn't being consistent with the Dallas Mavericks in regards to his future with them. But it gets a little deeper. According to Tim McMahon, the Dallas Mavericks had major issues about moving forward with Luka due to his constant conditioning issues and the looming commitment of another Supermax contract extension this summer. And this is the craziest part of all. When they asked Mavs general manager Nico Harrison about this bizarre trade, he said, "I believe that defense wins championships. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future." That's a cool thing to say when you trade away the face of your franchise. But also, Nico Harrison already made one of the biggest mistakes when describing Anthony Davis. AD hates being called a center. But personally, as a Los Angeles Laker fan, I want to thank Anthony Davis for his contributions to our team. I mean, we would not have won that bubble championship, which totally counts, if it wasn't for Anthony Davis. I personally believe that AD does deserve to have his jersey retired with the Los Angeles Lakers. At the end of the day, for the Los Angeles Lakers, I grade this trade an A++. There's huge questions about what the Lakers' future was going to look like post LeBron. They now have that answer. Assuming that Luka Doncic doesn't pull a Dwight Howard and leave us. For the Dallas Mavericks, it's hard to grade this trade because maybe this is the trade that gets them competitive in the Western Conference. And Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis pick and roll should be incredible, but it's just such a shocking trade nonetheless. I mean, for right now, I have to give the Mavericks a D+. I mean, maybe this is one of those trades that we look back on and we think it's a great trade, but as of right now, you just traded away the face of your franchise for a 31-year-old center, and personally I think Luka's value is significantly greater than that. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this insane trade? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.